welcome you to the inaugural session of Data Dive. This event series is a brainchild of data science student community, which has been specifically curated to bridge the gap between academic and industry requirements. This event will be carried out as a series of sessions spanning across multiple weeks, where experts and leaders in their specific fields in the industry will come out and share their knowledge with you. So let us jump right into it. The topic of today's session will be Step into Power BI. The objective of the event is to raise awareness of data analysis through Power BI. We are all glad that you have joined in, and we hope you gain a decent amount of valuable understanding on data analysis. So you must be very curious to see who today's speaker is. So without further ado, let me introduce to you the speaker of the inaugural Data Dive session, Mr. Amila Gunawardana, Business Intelligence Engineer at Next PLC, which is one of the largest retailers in the United Kingdom. Before I hand it over to Mr. Amila, let me remind you that there will be a Q&A session at the end of the event. So please, if you have any questions, we encourage you to drop them in the chat, or you can wait until the end and unmute yourself and ask the questions directly. So, Mr. Amila, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Rafael. I hope everyone can hear me. So let's
Yes, sir, you are audible.
jump right into the presentation. Let me share my screen. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So I'm Amila Gunawardana. So I'm a university graduate from University of Colombo, and I have done several Microsoft technologies, and I'm a certified professional in Microsoft technology. And today's session is up to speed with Power BI. So here I'm going to spoke about Power BI and what the tool can provide and what the tool is capable of. And I hope in some of your you have came across this term called BI. So um, so my name is Amila. I'm currently working as BI engineer for Next PLC, and I have over 6 years of experience in business intelligence and data science and data engineering. So my main aspect, main pointers are I'm a cloud BI integration specialist and a dashboard development specialized in Power BI and Click. So these are my blog and LinkedIn. If you want to keep in touch with me, uh, you can join with me. And in the blogs, I'm basically writing about Power BI and SQL Server. So if you have time, please visit my blog. You will gain some knowledge about it. There are some couple of Power BI specific posts also. And yeah, let's dive in. So the program structure is first I have categorized into three different areas: the beginner, intermediate, and advanced level. In the beginner level, we are just going to talk about ETLs and how Power BI is handling the ETLs and how the data models are created inside Power BI. So those kind of basic level stuff. And in the intermediate session, we are diving more into data extraction because it's a crucial part in data, because when it comes to insights, if you don't have proper mechanism to get data into ingest into a dashboard, or data ingest into a tool, BI tool, or CSV, or any source that you like, your end goal, the visualization or the predictive stuff that you are doing, it's not going to be a smooth sail. So you have to have knowledge in extraction and transformation and loading. So in advanced level, we are going to dive in quickly, touching the DAX coding and configure and sharing reports. So in DAX, basically, I'm going to talk about talking about how the DAX expressions are made of and what is DAX. Don't get confused right now. I will be explaining them a little bit later. So, as I explained, we'll start from the beginner level. Um, so, what is ETL? So, as you have heard, if you are aware of data warehousing or any other concept, extraction, basically extraction is export, transform, and load. So, these are the uh, three steps which is necessary in most of the applications, most of the data driven tools or data driven technologies. So right now it has been gone to ELT, extraction, load, and then transform at the end. So now the technology has shifted at that moment, at that point. So this one is basic concept. So extract, export means getting data from different data sources, which can be a CSV or a database or anywhere, any streaming analytics, streaming platform like IoT devices. So all those are exports. Transform is like cleaning, blending the data and merging them and removing null values. I hope like since you have from data science team, I think you are aware of data manipulation and those are under category of transformation. So in load, in data loading, we have different methods to load data. Uh, so basically, we have to create data models like table structures to have the performance to storage benefit. So these are the basic steps: export, transform, and load. So if you have heard export instead of extract, don't get confused. Basically those two terms are same. Um, okay, so when it comes to data extraction challenges, challenges on ETLs. So this one is very beneficial for everyone because I have worked with many projects throughout my years, and I have seen the processes of ETLs uh, that has been reflected upon the dashboards, the slowness of the dashboards, the uh, it's affected because basically a bottleneck. So if you are guys are understand the concept of bottlenecks, bottleneck is like um, uh, you have seen the neck of the bottle, right? So all the flow is in the beginning, flow is good, but in the neck area of the bottle, it's got stagnated a little bit. So that's an issue of in a pipeline. So I have seen uh, loads of reports and dashboards failing because of the ETLs has been properly configured. So you have to if you are doing a long term report, so don't think that report is going to be degraded after 1 or 2 years. So you have to think ahead because these dashboards are meant to be there. So it's dashboard can be like visuals, as in visuals and everything can be changed, but 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 uh, the data there and the available data points tables cannot be changed. Because of that, uh, uh, long-term maintenance is a must. So data formats are changing over time. So you have to think about that when you are extracting the data and velocity. Data increase of the velocity can be increased because like uh, as an example, if you are creating refreshing the data per day, and it may be come up to a half a day, like 8 hours, you have to do the dashboard. So you have to think ahead, and uh, uh, in Power BI, it's always there to uh, add the new time, like add a new connection. It will take some time to add a new connection, and and also for that time, like fixing a broken connection is also a matter because I'll explain this later when I give you a demo. So uh, and understanding the data transformation requirements is a must because what are the transformation that you need to do? What are the group buys that you have to do? Like, are you providing any um, data points, like whether it has to be monthly, yearly, or daily? You have to think all those things in your report. So before going into the just going to a CSV file and extract them. And I will explain all these points when it comes to the demo, when I come to the demo. Okay, so next is the demo. I'll stop share my screen and reshare the Power BI application, and I show you around the Power BI application and how how the things are happening over there. Yeah, hope everyone can see my screen. Yeah, okay. So in Power BI, this is the main window that we are getting when we open up our Power BI. So this is as you expect from Microsoft developed application. Uh, this one is the main ribbon, which you have file, home, modeling, and view, and we have a left. In Power BI we have left menu too. This one is the report view, and this one is the data view, and this one is the model view. Um, so report view basically does is it will create the visuals. Uh, it will allow to have multiple visuals in the dashboard. So in data view, we can basically see the data points available in the data set that we imported. And in this model phase, we can create data models. I'll explain it bit further. Like I think in intermediate level, we have some modeling discussions also. Uh, okay, so we'll get some data from an Excel workbook. So what you need to do is go to home, and inside of the data ribbon, uh, data ribbon, you have get data. Uh, in get data, you can go to Excel workbook, which is available over here. Click on it and go to go to the file location and click on one Excel file that which I have created on, and click on open. So this is called data extraction part. Now we have to select uh, the sheet. So I'm going to select this sheet, uh, this sheet one, and now if you can see over here, we have given two options to whether to load or do transformation. So this is if you pick this transform data, this will reflect the transform aspect. So extraction, transform, and load. Okay. So transform is over here, or just you can load it uh, by simply clicking this. But anyways, I'm going to do the transformation data. I'm click on it, and it will open up uh, different um, advanced query editor. So okay, so let me do that one again. Got changes. Okay. So I'm going to click on this get data and click on the Excel workbook, and then I will pick up Excel workbook that I have created already, and click on open. So if you remember, we are doing extraction, transform, and load. So we have done the extraction now, and we are doing the transform. So in the transform, you can quickly go to the transform data and click on it, or you can directly load it. So just click on the transform data, and we can do the transformation. So to do the transformation, Power BI is opening up a different editor called Power Core Editor. So basically, this one has all the tools required for do transformation. So if I explain a little bit about this window, you have this ribbon pane. You have new queries, data sources, parameters, and queries, and you can add columns too. And in the trans, I'm over here. If you are looking at it, so add column and transform. In transformation, you can do a group by. There are multiple things that you can try out. So I'm mainly focusing on this area, uh, this table area. So you can see the columns and rows, which is associated with the data file that I have loaded. So Power BI has done a good job by identifying the different data types. As you can see, I have a data type, numbers, uh, strings, likewise. But keep in mind, so these are decimal points. So now your knowledge in data points and everything comes over here. So in here, if I click over here, right click over here, this is where the shortcut for the data transformation. So if I right click over a column header, you can go to change type. So in terms of data type, this in this case, Power BI has recognized this one as a whole number. Uh, but you can see multiple times that these numbers that meant to be integers, those are coming as identifying in Power BI as decimal points. Always remove them and add them as integers and their proper data type. Okay, this one is a must because underlying Power BI engine has optimized for uh, for the data type. Okay, because it is after recognizing the data type, uh, it's all smooth sailing for Power BI engine. But since you have the domain knowledge of the data, you have to have an understanding what kind of data that can be come to here, come to a certain column. Okay. Uh, Power BI does a good job, but anyways, double checking won't do any harm. Uh, and yeah, so and then uh, another one is removing unnecessary columns. Let's say you are doing analysis on countries uh, and products and unit sold and date. Okay, so you can just click uh, select multiple columns by clicking Control and clicking multiple columns. Uh, like press Control and select any column that you need. And the magic of it is you can right click on it and you can remove those columns or remove other columns. So if you click on remove other columns, it will remove all the other columns except the columns that we selected. Uh, and just after yeah, if you're happy with the data point, you can go to home and click on close and apply. So all the data points is going to be added over here. Now it will get loaded up. Now this one is the loading part. So all in here, you can see the table view. So you can see the sheet one that we have extracted. It's it's going over here. And if you click on the left in the left menu, if I explained it you earlier, you have pre-report data and model. If you click on the data and click on the table you can see a quick view of the data points. Uh, so in this preview, 1,000 data points are available uh, in the beginning, but if you scroll down, it will go a little bit down and down. Like it will open up after the 1,000 data points. Uh, so I have done a small mistake. So sheet one, I have forgot to rename it. So what do we need to do? We can go to this transform data tab. Just get data is like we don't need to get the data. That data is already available. So we just need to go here in queries, click on this query data tab again, and again it will open up this query editor window. So in order to rename the table name, you just need to go over here in the table properties. You can just rename it to, let's say, product country. Let's say fact product. Uh, Whatever the table name that you like, and click on close and apply. And it will reflect over here. Okay. So if you go to the in the left menu, if you go to the model menu, you can see the table, yeah, with all the columns that are available. Uh, yes, and so those are like basic terms in Power BI, like transform window and get data. So those are basic stuff. And in I'll go to transform data again, and I will show you another quick trick in Power BI. So if you go to that transform data and again click new source and click on more. Uh, so this should, yeah, this should load up. Okay, these are the data table, like uh, databases, files, any like these are the connectors that are available in Power BI. You can connect to the different sources like files, databases, in Power Platform, as in Power BI, like Microsoft Dataverse, Azure, online services, multiple things. Uh, and I'm connect to files from here. And if you click on folder and click connect, now I have to browse the path. I'm going to go to my desktop and click on the data. So I'm selecting this folder path. Uh, Click OK. Now if I click transform data, this one will open up all the files that are available in this folder path. So the magic happens over here. In the content, you have a sort of a combined file button available over here in here. So if you click on it, it will automatically combine all the files that are available uh, into a one sheet, into a one table. Just give it a moment. Yeah. So can you see like in the source names? If I click over here, this is the filter menu. So we can just click on here, and if you need uh, enterprise and channel, if you click on OK, it will only get all those categories over here. So this one is the filter menu. And these are the apply steps. If you are familiar with um, the equivalent of this one is in a MacBook. The time time lapse or something there. So you can go to different states and check what happened. Okay, and if you just want to do some like let's say change in here. remove other columns, I just need to add another column. Just double click on it, and you will be presented with all the other fields that has been removed from there. So you can just click on that one, like I'm adding the extension over here, and click OK. See, the extension has been covered. So likewise, and you can remove the step also, like just an intermediate step. Like if I remove this filter one, if I click this cross over here, it will remove all the step things that I have applied, and it will go the previous state. You can just remove anything from the middle also, but I'm not going to remove that over here because it will break uh, break the functionality. So if I click those names, you can see there are two files, financial sample one and financial. So that is the exact table, exact files that I have. So in this combining context, you have to keep in mind that like you have to keep them in the same format, like same table format. Otherwise, the new columns will not be added, might not be added to the like, it will only get the first table structure, and it will try to replicate it throughout the files. Uh, so this is another good application of Power Query. So talking about Power Query, the transformation happens using Power Query. Power Query has been there for almost 2 decades now. It's on Excel in the beginning, and then shifted to Power BI. Okay, so let's go again to the presentation. Um, do you guys have any questions? So we are going to the data model stage. Uh, so data modeling. So this one is another big area in Power BI. So how we are modeling the data. So let's say when you are doing the database development or database concepts, uh, you have seen normalization. Uh, so likewise, in Power BI, we have uh, data model, like there are different data model types like star schema, snowflake schema, galaxy schema. There are multiple types of modeling types. But the Power BI is mainly supported by Snowflake. If I go over Snowflake, it's basically star data model is the supported by Power BI. Snowflake is, I can't say not supported, but Power BI is more optimized towards star schema. Star schema basically says that you have factor in dimension tables. Fact table has dimension tables, but in between dimension tables you can have a connection. Uh, if you don't have any understanding about fact and dimensions, uh, let me know. I will explain a little bit more about that. But basically, fact tables has all the quantitative data, and dimension tables has qualitative data. Uh, so in dimension tables, as an example, in a product, the product category, subcategory, all those things are inside in a dim, and sales quantity, unit price, all those things are in fact tables. And there are different types of relationship types: one to many, one to one, many to one, many to many. Um, those types of relationships are available in Power BI. I'll show them in Power BI. Uh, so again, so in order to have a relationship, you should have two tables. I'm going to just go over here and create a dimension table for us. Going to delete this one. So going to remove the columns. Okay. So this is the product table which we are using. So you can see country, product, discount brand, unit sold, manufacturing price, sale price, those sales price. There are multiple things. So if you want to create a dimension, I'm just going with uh, uh, product and segment. I'm picking those as a dimension. Uh, or no, we can go with column dimension for the for B format. So date, month name, and year. So I'm going to create a calendar dimension using these four fields. So what I'm going to do is in here in the left menu, another thing that you can do is you can right click on one and create a duplicate of um, a table. So you can create a duplicate, and I'm just renaming it over here as dim calendar, uh, and just picking up the stuff that I need: date, month name, and year. So I'm going to remove all the other columns, and I'm happy with it. Um, so the fact product, I can remove them because these columns are redundant, right? Because we have already got these columns into our dimension tables. So the data repetition is really low. So I'm clicking on close and apply. It will create the necessary tables for me, dimension calendar and fact. Okay, now Power BI does another thing. It's creating hierarchies. Hierarchies, I think you have, like if I expand in here, you can see another tree to expand. So if I click over here and click on date hierarchy, you can see year, quarter, month, and day. If you recall, I haven't created quarter inside inside Power BI, inside the table, right? So, but it came. So this one is called time intelligence in Power BI. So if I quickly add the one visual and show that to you, um, let's say I'm adding table visual and creating data, creating the date. So this one is containing year, quarter, month, and day for us. Um, so this one is one of the features that are available in Power BI. Sorry. Uh, but as an for myself, if you ask me whether I have been using it, I would say no, because this one create multiple tables inside your data model, and it will eat up your storage. Sorry, memory. So I wouldn't recommend to use auto time intelligence, but for the sake of having that feature over here, I'm going to use that one because the data set is really small. Uh, if I click on the model, so this is where the magic happens in modeling. You just need to drag and drop. Okay. So from dim to fact, I just need to get this date and drag and drop over here, drop to here. Okay. Now this one is the relationship menu. Dim calendar to defect product. So if you remember, so the cardinality is added as many to many, uh, but it should not be, right, because in the dimension table, um, date only has to be a one record. Yeah. So in the extraction phase, we have to do another step to the dimension table. So in order to go to that one again, I'm going to go to transform data again and go to the dimension calendar and click on here. And if you can see, if you go to these reduce rows, you can click on the remove rows. and you can click on the remove duplicate, and it will allow us to remove duplicates and create this table uh, with removing all the duplicate dates. And if I just click close and apply, click on close and apply, and click on date. And if I drag and drop over here, now it shows as one to many. Earlier it was many to many, but now it's shifted to one to many. So it makes sense, right? So in the cross filter direction, this one is single. This one is meaning that if I select something from here, it from the dimension, fact table will get filtered out. And if I select both, this functionality is available in both ways. If I select something on the fact table, it will filter the dimension calendar table. And if I select something on the calendar table, it will filter the fact table. So if I ever select both, but for the moment we only need single from dimension to fact, and make sure that you are clicking on this make this relationship active and click OK. Now this one is just a simple model. So if I go come over here, and if I quickly add some month names and sales, and if I create a quick column chart, so you can see that like I have selected two columns from two tables, but it has managed to create a dashboard for us. If I don't have this relationship, I'm simply deleting this relationship for the moment. Uh, if I delete this one, let's say that we haven't had this relationship. It will show up as an error. All the sales are available over here, but it's an error, right? Uh, Earlier it was something there, but now it's not been there. So now if you create a relationship again, it will show the proper values. Okay, so these are the just basic concept of modeling, data modeling. Uh, uh, okay, I think we have a question. When uploading the data set to Power BI is in pre-processing data set earlier. Uh, okay. So that's a good question. So Power BI is capable of doing the pre-processing that you are trying to do. In terms of pre-processing, if you are uh, if there are some limitations. Let's say in the pre-processing you are going to address the null values. Let's say not dropping them off like just um, in a categorical variable. If you are uh, filling the gaps, filling the blank values, you have to of course go with Python. But the good thing is you can anyways write Python script inside Power BI to extract the data from sources. Whatever the code that you have written in Python, you can just get the code and you can paste it in Power BI and just run it, and it will do all the pre-processing beforehand. So uh, I'll just show you one. Uh,
Excuse me, sir. Another
yeah,
similar question is there. Can we
yeah.
do complete data pre-processing part in Power BI after exporting an Excel sheet?
Can we do? Can you repeat the question again?
Can we do the complete data pre-processing part in Power BI after importing an Excel sheet?
Yes, of course. Of course you can. Uh, because in Power BI, like that's what I'm going to show you. So let me share my screen again, and I will show that. If you go to this advanced Power Query editor, you can either run R scripts or Python scripts. Yeah. So I'm familiar with Python, to be honest. So I'm going with run Python script, and you can just uh, so the data set hold the input uh, data of this script. So this one comes as a pandas data frame. You just can do anything to it. Since you are like doing the pre-processing on the pandas data frame, you can just verify the like you can just use this dataset variable in your code. That's it. I don't have a sample for that, but I'm happy to provide that information to you. And R also similar situation. At this point, I haven't installed R, but that dataset variable remains same. Uh, yeah, so that is where the Python integration comes in. If there is no capability of Power Query that has been given to you readily, you can always use Python script to pre-process the data. No issue on that. Yeah, I hope I have answered the question. So let's move on to the presentation. Now we are going to the intermediate section, which we are talking about extraction, transformation, loading. In extraction phase, in Power BI, uh, I mean, in Power BI, we have three types of data connectivity: direct query, live connection, and import. Um, how we connect to a data source is really matters because let's say you have 10 billions of records. You need to, if you are importing them into Power BI, it is going to be a mess. Okay, so that's why the Power BI has given you these three connection types: direct query, live, and import. Uh, I will show them in my demos how direct query, live and import is working. Uh, and Power BI when it comes to data sources, and it supports over 40 databases and 70 other database connection types. It's from JSON to uh, Azure to online services, wiki pages. You can uh, name it. It's available in Power BI. Uh, we can write our custom connectors too, but it's not a must. Since you can export data into CSVs, JSONs, XMLs, uh, in any database that available in planet Earth is supported by either JSON, XML, or CSV. So, or if the connection is not available in Power BI, you can always use those things. Uh, so it when it comes to the raw data formats, it's really good with Power BI. You can just do anything in there. But in the where the Microsoft comes in is like the way of that you are using it. So let's say you are a user that you are not a heavy user, then you can go with pro licensing. And if you are a really heavy user, you can go with premium capacity. So recently, Power BI has changed the architecture to storage to CPU because storage really doesn't matter in when it comes to cloud environments. Uh, because storage is I couldn't say unlimited, but now Microsoft is having I think 10 million petabytes. No, sorry, million petabytes of petabytes of storage. They are claiming that they have the storage capability of like that. Um, imagine 1 petabyte is more than enough for storing our lives work. So I don't think it's exceeding. So they have moved their goal from storage to CPUs. Now, what they are really focusing on the uh, data processing capabilities. And if you have huge processors running on the table or a data set. That is where Power BI those models are has been comes in. So yeah, so I will briefly talk about import, direct query, and live connection. So in uh, import is giving you the full control of the data. You can get the data and uh, insert into your Power BI table. That Power BI table that we have done right just now. There's another way of connecting called direct query and live connection. I will show a short demo of it, and then you will be able to understand it properly. Uh, Let me open up another Power BI instance. I have posted. So I'm again click on this get data and go to more. Uh, so all the things that I talked about import, direct query, and live is available on SQL Server databases. So I'm going to go go to databases and searching for SQL Server database and click on connect. And for the server, I'm putting my local instance. And here you can see you have given two options, import and direct query. Since we have done the import using file, it's the same scenario, same thing is going to be happen over here. I'm just going with the direct query for the moment. And in advanced option, you can just specify a select query, or it's an optional thing. But if you have a query to run on, you can just put the query over here and click OK. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to click on direct query and click OK. And it will open up my SQL Server instance, which is available of my local environment. So I have three different databases: AdventureWorks, Sample EDW, Test Table. So if I click on database, sorry, if I click on Sample EDW, this is my data warehouse for this AdventureWorks 2019. So as I explained you, dimension, the naming convention really matters. Dim is dimension, fact is fact tables. The good thing is if I click on one of the tables, let's say sales quota, and click on the table, and if I click on the select the relationships, if you have create the tables in the database with the foreign key and primary key, if you click on this select related tables, it will select all the tables which is related to that table. So this one is a really good feature because sometimes you might forget to import them. Okay, so if you click on the selected tables, it will select all the tables which is related to that. And I'm just going to click on the transform data. Okay. Uh, Seems like I'm just eyeballing and checking whether the correct data type has been picked up. So I'm clicking close and apply. Okay. Now, we are using direct query to get the data, right? Okay. Now, if you can remember, uh, there were three menus over here: report, data, and model. Now the data has gone away because we have used direct query. In direct query, that's the limitation. We cannot see the data previews. Okay, we just only go to the model state and see the model only, data model only. Yeah. So you just only thing can you can do is you can create visuals from here. And the good thing is data haven't loaded to Power BI yet. Only a preview is available. So if I click on here and yeah, sales quota, I'll put sales quota and I'll add a slicer. Don't worry about the visualization. This visualization part, I will cover it up in a different stage because it's not enough time for do anything within a hour of time. So uh, so can you see like there's a little bit of slowness. Once the query is there, it's okay, but uh, so like, let's pick multiple. 2009, 2014. Uh, so if you use this feature, it will go to the database and execute the query, and it will get the data to the dashboard. That's where the direct query happens because data is temporarily available. All not all the data points are available in Power BI backend, but data is cached for the most part. Uh, so yeah, that's why you can see a preview of the data. So that is one of limitations in Power BI. So again, I will show you the live connection also. So it live connection is just a fancy word for direct query for Microsoft technologies, but underlying architecture is different, of course. Live data is only supported by uh, Power BI services. Uh, so if I click on this Azure or Tableau analysis services, let's say analysis services. So yeah, so SQL Server analysis services. If I click on connect, uh, and I will add my server, and can you see the connect live button is there here? Um, uh, so for the same report, direct query and live connection is not available. If you need to create a dashboard for live connection, you have to create a separate dashboard for that. You can only have one direct query or live connection, but you can have important direct query, important live connection in the same report, but not direct query and live connection. So I will create another new dashboard, and in there I will show you up the live connection. So it's act the same, but the backend architecture is really different. Um, I click on get data, more, and data for the file. And this is service database, and click on connect. And this is server. And if you click on connect live, it will click OK. And since there's no database available for live connection, it will go as same as direct query. Direct query. So live and direct query most probably same, but it underlying architecture is really different. So I will briefly explain about those also. So I can see two questions. Let me go to the questions. So if it's correction and error or warning occurs, does that mean? Okay, so for that question, is available in Power BI. There's no error. There was a warning. So error is where that you cannot do it. Warning means there can be some complication, but it's a warning. But if we have the data granularity, if we have the proper transactions inside of the tables, it won't be an issue. Uh, in earlier stages of Power BI, many was a huge headache because it haven't been properly managed, but right now it's not an issue. Many is handled perfectly in Power BI. Uh, our data cubes and uploading the prepared cubes into Power BI is still being used, or it's an outdated technique. If you can explain a little bit about data cubes, are you talking about MDM cubes or multidimensional cubes or tabular? If you can, if the person who has raised it, if you can just clarify it, then I will be able to help you out over there. Okay, so let's jump into the presentation. Uh, so this is the quick overview of import, direct query, and live connection. In import, it's of course bounded to your licensing. Uh, for Pro license, I think it has been now increased to 10 GB uh, uh, per user, and capacity it's capacity based. You can now it's not even thinking about the data size anymore in premium capacity. The recovery again, uh, it depending on your data structure database, because data is not going to be inside Power BI. It's cached, so nothing to worry about there. So in live connection, of course, direct query live connection is basically depending on your data source. If you have a good server, that server can do multiple queries. That is where that cost come into place. So number of data sources. If you use import, you can do unlimited number of sources. Uh, let's say Excel sheet, CSVs, JSON objects. You can use multiple objects like even databases also. If you're using data, importing data into Power BI. But in direct query, as I showed you in before, when I applied the tabular cube, SSAS tabular, it shows an error. You cannot use live query and direct query together. So that is where this comes in. In direct query, only one direct query is available. So in live connection, same. Data refresh, again, it's uh, depending on the license, 8 times per day, but in premium it's going to now 48 times or 1 minute interval. You can do a refresh. Direct query live connection, obviously, it's going to connect to the data source lively. So there's no refresh delay. Performance wise, import data works the best because data is available on Power BI. Direct query, it's slowest because the underlying is data source is depend like it's not very much compatible. I wouldn't say compatible, but it is not a compatibility issue. I would say it's a data source issue because of a data source issue. Like SQL is the underlying data communication mechanism. So the SQL engine is really slow. Then there's nothing to do. In live connection, since Microsoft has built upon it, it's the best way that if you can use it. Data transformation, import, yes, fully featured. You can do any transformation, but direct query, you cannot do any like huge transformations. But data type changing and on those, there are like limited set of things that you can do in direct query. In live connection, you cannot edit or do anything. Uh, Data modeling, import data is fully featured. Direct query is highly restricted. See, you cannot even create relationships. Live connection, obviously, it's come from tabular. So you have to have create the same connectivities and everything on live. Security, again, row level security. These are like really big terms in your perspective. So if I get a hands-on one, I will be able to talk about these pointers too. But see if I get involved. Um, so I have already showed you the transformation steps. So we can skip that phase. So have a small, I have a small question from you guys. Please use the chat to send the number or send the correct answer. So one question that I have is for you is uh, so you have 100 millions of records, which is a huge data set. So what would be your go-to method to connect to that source? Is it a direct query uh, for the tables, or an import for the table, or direct query for historical data and uh, import for the latest data, uh, or direct query, uh, or the other way around? So if you can uh, drop A, B, or C, A, B, C, or D to the chat, it will be a good thing. And another question is, uh, how do you connect to an Excel file that contains target figures? The solution should involve minimum manual work when getting a new Excel sheet to the dashboard. Okay, so the question is, uh, you have multiple Excel files, which has been copied into a data, or into a folder. So if you add a new Excel sheet, what would be the best way of getting that Excel sheet into the Power BI? So first method is connect to files with folder connection and use combine binaries function to combine everything, or just create a new file for each month and go in there and appending them to a table. So if you can answer the question in the chat, then I'm more than happy to happy to have it. So I think we are so in next we'll eager to do a Power BI hands-on session, because this one is just skimming through the Power BI capabilities, and I don't think from a one hour session you will grasp everything. Yeah, so this one would be my next step. Do a Power BI hands-on session physically, so then I can attend you and sort of hands-on with you. Uh, yeah, and if you have any questions, please raise it, and I'm more than happy to answer questions. Will be stop sharing my screen, and
So there's a question that someone has put in the chat. This is not regarding the session, but besides Power BI, how do we create a path to becoming a BI engineer?
okay, shall we get the Power BI question and then move towards those questions, Asir? I
Yeah,
will
sure.
explain them a little bit later. Yeah.
So the Power BI questions, you have answered most of them.
Okay. Yeah. So let's jump into that one. Okay. So the spectrum of BI engineer is little bit changed now, because the role of BI engineer, when I come into my days, it data extracting the data engineering part, insight part, and data science part all combined together in my BI role. Right now, it's bit distributed, uh, and it's sort of now BI role is sort of an umbrella term for data engineer, data scientist. Uh, it's an umbrella term now. So wherever you go, programming knowledge is a must. And if you are lacking programming like Python or let's say Java, I have started my journey as a Java developer in the beginning, and then I moved to BI. So it has helped me a lot. Uh, so if you can include Python, Java, C Sharp, or whatever programming language that you get hands on, just do it and learn it. And in visualization, Power BI is good because tool is available for you to download and check it out for yourself. And there are loads of forums. Uh, yeah, so those are the main pointers. I mean, there's no clear-cut way of doing things, but I can say is focus on. Uh, there are books available like there's a book called Kimball Group. That's a book for any BI developer. If you are developing any application, any database structure, Kimball Group, that book is your Bible. It has to be your Bible. Yeah, in data terms. Yeah, so I hope I have given you an answer, but I don't think it's very much valid for you. But if you have any questions, please drop me a message. I will be able to help you out at some point.
Is I think that covers. I think that has answered his question.
Yeah.
Another question is there. This also strays a little bit away from our session, but I think this falls falls directly under your expertise zone. So the question goes as, sorry. Recently, I was interviewed for a data visualization position. They asked about data models and data models and data visualization models. Can you explain them both?
Data model. Okay, data model is the one that we've spoken about, the relationship between tables, and visualization model um kind of um there are different ways of have you heard about Gestalt laws? It's separate structure of data visualization. So laws actually. So just read about it. I mean, so visualization model is sort of testing your capability to do the storytelling. Let's say you have a good data set, but if you are not capable enough to do the visualization and give a proper idea to end users, yeah, so that is where that visualization part comes in. But for the modeling, data modeling part, I have shown you that the data modeling of the modeling aspect of the data, so it's a different area. So likewise I said like BI has been moved to different stages. It has been the BI engineer role has been segregated. Now data engineers are there, data visualizations are there, data scientists are there, because the term has now BI engineer is an umbrella term. That's why it's there. Yeah, keep in mind like I have tried to cram everything up in one hour time. I hope that I have done a better job, because this one is very uh, vast area. Uh, I tried my best. I hope everyone has an understanding, at least uh, at the top level. Sorry.
Hello, Amila sir.
Yep.
I have a question, Amila sir. Like when it comes to reporting side, so is Power BI good tool when it comes when we have large amounts of variables where we want to compare the deviations, how the count differs and stuff. So would Power BI a good tool or SPSS would be a good tool in such a situation?
So if you are doing a statistical analysis, what type of variations that you are looking into?
Like basically the deviations in the counts.
Yeah, if you are doing this, if you are doing standard deviations and all, if you are familiar with R, you can obviously use R scripting inside Power BI to do the scripting.
Okay.
SPSS is more like a tool, like it's not incorporated with anything, right? Like uh, if you do the analysis, it's for that application only. You can export it as a PDF or a visual, but then how do you present it? That is where Power BI comes in. So
Okay.
yeah, it's mainly focusing on your subject area,
Okay, Amila sir.
depending on your subject area. Yeah.
Thank you.
By the looks of it,
Yep.
I think there are no more questions for the people for the participants to ask. So we'll wind up the session.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amila, for sharing some valuable knowledge on Power BI. That was very beneficial. And ladies and gentlemen, before you leave, this is another reminder. Please make sure to share your thoughts with us. We have posted a feedback form on this chat. So please take your time and fill the feedback form so we can get an idea on what you would like to see in the future events. Our next session for the data dive series will be announced very soon. I invite you all to stay tuned and connected with us through our social media platforms. And thank you for being here. And I hope you'll have a wonderful evening.